Hi there again. So I'm back working on Moonlight Requisitions here, and I realised after filming the first hour of working on it, once I went to play back the part 1, the file was useless to me, so I'm afraid all the stuff that I did in part 1 gone. Which I suppose really it was only a lot of it was background work, as it usually is with me, so you might not miss that much. But I did discuss some of the other context which I bring up in what has now become part 1 of me doing this, so I should probably go back and explain that. When I was, this was the first piece that I did in a series of, I think it worked out to be about 17, 18 different versions of this composition in all sorts of different media. And the original's about A1, so it's like 4 times the size of this. Twice that way, twice that height. And I was showing it to a friend, and he said, "Oh, have you noticed the figure in the middle of it?" So we sat at the pelvic base, and it sort of echoes what she's doing this, I don't know, like alluding to a bit of a crucifixion pose, which was entirely intentional. I mean, I'm not a particularly religious person myself, but I'm not daft. Symbols exist. This is one of them. And when he pointed it out to me, like you can see here, that's the arm, that's the other arm there, the head, body, torso, and to me they're sort of standing on, I don't know, it's almost like Dante's Inferno, and it's like a conductor's pose at the end, like quite a proclamation. And it's echoed, like I say, in what's going on in the hands. And the context change was this. The reason that I use a lot of these, especially when I do the initial study, this is a bit like me, this is what I do instead of a pencil drawing that I would have done 20 years ago. And it's, it's vaguely close to being monochromatic, but there's, there's splashes of colour into it. Really it's one colour, it's a couple, and then monochrome over the top, and that's a golden brown colour that I use, and then I've got a graphite colour that I use, and then it's grey and black paints, and these as well, the parallel pens that I use. The reason that I'm bringing that up is because obviously it gives that effect, and that effect is something that I'm looking for, because to me it's sort of evocative of classical Greece and statues, which is what I'm alluding to with this figure anyway. So, and the reason that I say that is because I always saw this in like the back of my mind as something as akin to, on the scale of the Colossus at Rhodes. And when I saw that figure, it's like, that's the human scale. Not this, not the figure, and the drapery became different. It had a different context to me as well, because that's like the projection that this reality, this edifice of art. That was a good slip. Is alluding to that it's just a veneer, it's a surface, and it's a projection from the shadow. Like this much smaller but much more potent character is throwing this all up in front of you, and it's you know, it's feminine beauty, but that's what I liked about the model's shaved head. That I knew that would play a different card on that. And then it's a very, I don't know, I'm not even going to say, but it's an interesting pose to pull with, and then hide it behind drapery. And then to see this figure, like standing on a mount, projecting it all up, it became sort of a statement on painting and art and the projection that is. Most of my work, I would say, is nearly all of it. This is an able demonstration of it. I mean, there's no two ways. I knew that figure was within the composition, but I hadn't consciously or cognitively integrated it into how I was building it through the entirety of painting this image. It wasn't until somebody else clapped eyes on it that they were, right. And the context of the image changed. And it's sort of, that's what I'm saying about, it is a projection from the, you know, from the shadow. I suppose there's all sorts of metaphors and things that you can read in it, but so if you heard me talking in part one when I was saying that I'd already explained in the previous part one, the original part one that got corrupted and is unrecoverable, that's what I was talking about. When I said there was a hidden context to it, that's the context to it. It's for me, it's a statement on the projective qualities of art, which I think there's a lot of. So hopefully that won't happen when I come to run the video through on what I've just done again. And hopefully it makes sense the second time I've gone over it. Recall correctly, what I'm shading in here is the edge of one of my canvases in my studio. So it literally was art in the background that was propping up the composition. I think that's something else that I said in the file that I've lost, the original one. It's quite important. Her leg was being, you know, supported off of another surface. So it creates, it doesn't create, but it accentuates this projection thing. What I think subconsciously I was alluding to with the drapery. much with what's just happened with in the previous video when I was saying about pitching that back to give the more nuanced contrast in the drapery there a chance with higher contrast in the background. It's the same thing going on here. That straight line's quite important with the weight that it's indicating falling through there. So I don't want to on a number of levels it's important that it's quite clear that A, it drops behind the leg, and B, that it's not breaking too much the pointing that's going on within it. That's why I was quite pleased in the previous one about getting the finger right. You can't see her hand in this one obviously, and that's the only bit of her hand that you can see, and it's just clipping the edge of the drapery, and it pulls all the way down to the opposite. So yeah, it's a bit of a bigger print, this one. That'll be reflected in the final price on it, which I think I'm gonna, it's not that much bigger, it'll only be like a price hike of like 25 quid. And yeah, I can't remember whether it was which one of the previous bit, but I think I might consider getting a full size or 1-to-1 scale with the original printed onto A1, and then do the same process that I'm doing here but at full scale. And I think I'll give you a quick sneak preview of what I'm going to do next. Let's go and speed up one. Or that way, whichever way round suits you best. Getting there now. Yeah, I'm quite pleased with this. I mean, it does make the thing a lot easier when you're starting with something that's quite strong anyway. It's another thing retrieving it when that might be another project to do with the print sketchbook maybe. Retrieving images that you think have gone badly wrong. I reckon I could do a masterclass on that. Getting there. think we're looking good here, so I'm going a couple of little flashes here and there, but for all intents and purposes this is done. There we go. Okay, yeah, so it's I'll post still images of it very shortly. Thanks for watching through to the end. Sorry there was only 2, there should have been 3, but nothing I could do about it, so hopefully you got enough out of this. Yeah, if you can give us a like and a subscribe, that'd be fantastic. And like I say, up for 120, like, even if you see it in a few months' time on whatever platform, and it appeals to you, and yeah, like, give us a shout. I can work out something similar on the same scale, which is, I'll tell you now. So that is 48 centimetres by 29. Okay, if you can give us a like and subscribe, that'd be brilliant, and hopefully I'll see you again soon on another video. Cheers, ta-ra.